This is Damon Stevens for FinWealth Builders giving you a market update for Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. If you've not subscribed to our page, please visit our page so you can get continual updates at FinWealth Live. And earnings continues on this week. We've had several large companies report earnings. Today, you had General Motors, Etsy, Uber, Twilio, Fastly, Marathon Oil, and several others that reported their earnings today. And we will cover a couple of those just to give you an idea of kind of what's coming out of those earning reports. And so let's go ahead and hit a couple of these, and we'll cover PayPal and Uber to just give you an idea on the charts what's going on. So PayPal did report their earnings. You can see though that the response from the stock market was negative. So this is the second day of negative movement for PayPal, but you can see that it did get support on the 50. So as long as it maintains this 50, it has a chance of bouncing off and moving back up higher. If it does break the 50 at 247.40, it could come down here to the 200 moving average down here at 224. If it can break back up through here and get above the 5, then it can go back up to the 260 range, to the 277 range, or it can work its way back up to higher highs. As long as the market continues to maintain a bullish pattern, PayPal has a chance to break back out of here. The second one was Uber, and you can see on the intraday chart that Uber also, after earnings, had a breakdown of the stock, and it it stayed below the 50, and it's kind of sitting hovering right between. Actually, this is the 100 and the 200 moving average. So it's sitting around here, $51. The 200 moving average is down here at 49 area. So it should find support if it breaks down below that. If for some reason it's able to get support where it's at, it's potentially, we have 50.61 back here that kind of was an area for support back here for today. If you can bounce back here, it could start to work its way back up, but it has a ways to move to get back towards that bullish momentum. So just something to be aware of if you're in Uber, to look for where you can get support, or if you're day trading the stock. It looks like it's probably going to, unless the market turns around and pulls this back up, it's probably going to come back and visit that 200. So overall, the market, so we have 1,132 beats now and 228 misses. So you can see that overall, the most companies are doing very well on their reports and their earnings. So that's great for the market to give it the incentive to move higher, and for these companies to grow their shares and their stock size and pricing, and to get the action going where we want to as investors. So let's go ahead and look at FinViz. So here you can see the Dow Jones closed up 0.29%, and the Nasdaq was down 0.37%, and the S&P 500 was up 0.07%. So pretty close to flat for the day, just a little slight movement. All right, so this is our scanner, our day scanner, and you can see that there's a couple that popped up on the scanner. I got on these a little late, so I didn't get the full trade, and it took a while for them to actually pop up here. But you can see that NMRD and RHE popped up on the top scanner as far as having movement. So let's go ahead and cover those. So NMRD, you can see here that it spiked quite a bit, and actually it didn't quite make it to where it did back in February when it hit 1259. It hit 1106 is kind of where it topped out, and then came back down and settled. But yeah, this was just on a huge parabolic move today. So hopefully you were able to catch that early and catch some of that. I'll cover the intraday chart now, so you can just kind of see. So here's the intraday chart, on the open and the close today. And so you can see on this chart, it came up and it kind of pulled back a little bit and settled in. But you can see right here's the 20 on this green line is the 20 moving average. And you can see it held that line. So when it's holding that line, you have good support to continue to get in that stock. So I missed this whole front move here And you can see here's a next chance to get in is right here, kind of as it starts to break back up it over these numbers here. So it came up and then it kind of went parabolic right here. So if you're able to catch that, that's great. I didn't catch all this because I caught it a little bit late, but you can see that it kind of came up, came back and dipped back down, and again it touched that 20. This was the great entry point. Typically, you can wait for the first entry or the second, but I usually don't. If I see that it's pulled back and it's found support, usually this is my second chance to kind of get in. So get in here. You can see you had another chance to get in if you missed that entry. And you can just kind of ride it up to here. And this is as soon as it turned out, that's where I was out. You can see that it came back again. It broke below that 20 moving average, and it kind of went between the 20 and the 50. But if you could catch this, it was a very short run, but you could have caught that and caught that tail end of that last run. So if you were aggressive, you could probably ride that whole thing up. I just grabbed a piece and I was done. But if you were able to get any part of that, then congratulations. You can see that there was multiple times during the day that you could grab that one. So that's the first, and this is small cap. So small caps are doing well. They're having parabolic moves, and so we'll just continue taking advantage of those. So the next one is RHE, and you see that this had a couple days where it spiked up, but today it really kind of went up and went up and went parabolic and hit that 1949. And then you can see that it kind of retraced back about 50%, which we talk about on several of these videos, how the market will go up and hit a peak and typically will retrace anywhere from a third to usually 50% back again. So you can see that it did that in the same day, retraced back about 50% of the move. And so let's take a look at the intraday chart here. So on a 5-minute chart here, you can see here's the beginning of the day, here's the end of the day. Really, here's your best entry in. If you're aware of this and you knew that it was on a climb, you could have got in here at this point. I definitely did not get that because it really didn't get on the radar on the FinViz until later after this whole move had made it. So, but right here it did consolidate, which is great. It consolidated and stayed right above that 5, which shows strong support. So as soon as you get a new breakout over this prior resistance area, that it's time to hop in. So if you get in anywhere on this candle, congratulations, that's great. That's kind of what my entry in. Just kind of small piece of it up here. I didn't write it all the way up here because I didn't know how far it was going to go before it backed off. So so hopefully you got a piece of that. If you got the whole ride, then congratulations. But you can see kind of petered out here. 27.72 was a high for the day, and then it kind of backed off. There's probably some entries in here. I didn't do that. I moved on to other stocks. But you can see that you probably could have caught this dip here and rode it back up here. You could have rode it back in through here. So there's a couple more entries you could have kind of scalped and grabbed a hold of if you wanted to. But hopefully you didn't hold and you're able to take profits along the way. That's really important to do. So you're not being greedy, so you don't lose all this momentum here back down from where you got in. So really two great stocks move came out of that scanner. Scanner's a great thing to look at in the morning. So if you're looking for trading ideas, going out and looking at these scanners, and they're free. This one's FinViz is free. They have a paid service, which gives you a lot more functionality, but the free version still will give you, trading opportunities during the day. So definitely a good tool to use, and hopefully that you find that helps you. And if you have other tools, definitely note them in the comments below so that I can see what else is out there. I have a few other tools that I use as well, like the one I'm using right now, which is TradingView. But yeah, they're good tools out there. There's lots of them out there, and hopefully the ones that you're using are working for you. So I want to cover the dollar next. So typically, if the dollar is weak or the price is low, typically that means the rest of the market money's going to flow into the market, and so that's good for shareholders and people who are investing. If the dollar starts to increase, then money flows out typically of the market, and that's where you can see some declines in the stock market. So it doesn't always happen that way, but Most of the time it does. So right now you can see the level really that we're looking at here, and you see the support level right here across here. And you can see kind of where it's found a lot of resistance, and it's sitting there right now still around that 91.29. So as long as it stays below that, we're in a good place for the market to be able to continue to rally and stay bullish. If it starts to get above this 50 moving average, then we could possibly start to see the market to kind of pull back. So if you're looking for, hey, what indicators or what do I watch to see when the market's possibly changing? This is one of those areas where you can look at the US dollar currency and seeing how it's moving in the marketplace. So the next one we're going to cover is SPY. This is the S&P 500. This is a proxy for index for the S&P 500. And you can see here today that we are kind of staying right in this little channel. There's a little tight channel right here that this is kind of staying in. And you see that we didn't make any really new highs, and we really didn't make any new lows, and it was a pretty tight range here. But just something to be aware of. We did feel this little gap in here. You can see that was out here, so that's good. But yeah, the price is pretty tight. So as long as we continue to ride in here, we're just taking time off the clock. And really here's where you're trying to build some pressure, either to move up or move down. And so as long as it continues to consolidate here, you can see the market's kind of in an indecision area where it's trying to figure out, trying to get momentum to move up or down. And you can also see here that the volume was pretty low today compared to what it was prior days. So the market's probably not going to move much unless it has a lot of, institutional support to come in and help to drive that volume up. So the VIX, so we talked about the VIX before. So the VIX kind of gives you an idea. It's another indicator, kind of like the US dollar, that kind of gives you an idea of as far as what the market's doing. So this it kind of follows the opposite of the S&P 500. You can see that, as long as it stays below 20, the market's going to do well. If it starts to go above 20, you're probably going to see the S&P 500 start to drop. And so this is just something to watch. And it looks like we're staying under that 50. Here's a 20, here's a 50. So we're staying under there, which is great. Hopefully we can maintain that, and that'll help that bullish momentum to continue to stay in the S&P 500 in the stock market. So another thing to be aware of if you're trying to track, movements in the market. So the triple Qs, Nasdaq. So if you look at that, you can see this here, another day here where we found support around that 329 area. We're staying right above that 50, which is good. It gives us a chance to stay in a bullish momentum and build to break back up. So we're going to keep an eye on that. If it starts to break below the 20 or the 50, then we can come down here and possibly revisit this here gap down here, or even down here to this 100 at the 319.79. So something to be aware of. Hopefully we can maintain this, and so we can break back up and start to maintain that bullish format that we're used to here. So so the semiconductors, you can see that it didn't close as weak as it did the day before. It did come back and touch this 5, and it kind of hovered between the 5 and the 50, actually the 100. So we're kind of in this area here. Hopefully it'll find support and bounce off. It did close a little bit higher, so that's good news from yesterday. You can see the volume's not really heavy here. So we probably need some type of momentum to be able to help push it back up. But right now, we're kind of sitting here between the 100 and the 5. Russell 2000 or IWM, you can see that it also found support here above the 50. This red line right here, and so it's kind of hovering between the 20 and the 50 for the second day. That does show some weakness, but it's still not bearish. It's still bullish because it's above the 50. So as long as it can stay in here, it can consolidate and try to get some momentum to go back up. But you can see the volume is really low today in comparison to most days. So so that's just something to be aware of. Dow Jones, DIA. So you can see the Dow Jones is kind of in this little channel, and we talked about this the other day. It's just kind of consolidating this little channel. And you can see it tried to break up through to a new high, and it was rejected. So it's just kind of right there on the border. So not a whole lot of movement. You see the pricing obviously was really tight in there. So, I mean, not much to speak to, and also low volume today. So let's talk about gold. You can see that gold came up and bounced right below underneath that 200. So it's going to try to break out as you've seen it's try to do it here, and let's try to do it here. It's at that 200 level again, trying to break out. You can see the moving averages are pointing upwards, and you got the 15 to 200 right here in between. So gold, if it wants to break out and go towards 1800, it's got to get above that 200 and close above that 200 moving average. If not, it could possibly break down. You can see that you got a little bit of a channel here, so it'd probably break down close to this 1770 area, and hopefully find support. If not, it'd come down to 1767 here, down by the 50 for support. So that's where gold's at today. You look at silver. Silver again, a little consolidation channel here, and so it's above all the moving averages. It's closed above the 5, which is great, and so that is a bullish momentum. Just kind of moving slow though. Will it retrace up through these candles? Possibly. But it's going to definitely need a lot of volume to push it through to those new levels. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, you can see that it didn't have a lot of movement today. It's hovering. It's above the 57,000 mark, so that's good. That way it can move towards 58, and then hopefully back up to 60, and then towards this high of 65. So it's good. It's maintained. It's above the 5, so that's good. You see the volume is like really low though, so not a lot of people in there buying at this point. So just something to be aware of. Ethereum, you can see that it's kind of hovered above the upper 2/3 of this candle here. So Ethereum's holding. You can see it's got nice resistance here that's seen for 3 days in a row. So it's got to be able to break above that 355.60 area if it wants to start to climb out to 3,600 and then 3,800 and hopefully at some point 4,000. You can see it's a little extended from the 5, so it's going to have to either have to consolidate here, let that 5 catch up with it, or if it breaks down, it could break below that 5, then you can start to see it possibly come down and reset a little bit. But for right now, it's very bullish, and but the volume is very low. DOGE. So DOGE is getting a lot of attention, and boy, has it really moved. So really, congratulations if you have this one. I have some of this, and just some of this sit in there. Why not? Because the returns, I had 23% on my returns yesterday, so can't complain about that. It's just amazing how it's moving each day. So congratulations around that. You can see that it's holding. Look, it's got some resistance here around that 66 cents. So it's got to be able to break up through there so it can go back up and break up to new highs and get up to the 70 and then 80 cents. And then, everybody's hoping to hit $1, and, it's possible. It's possible though, if it sits here and consolidates, if it does fail to break through this resistance, it could come back and revisit down at this 5 here. The 5 could roll up to it. We're not quite, just unknown. Technically, it's hard to talk about some of these cryptocurrencies because there's so much news and emotion that drives them, and social media. So just something to be aware of. XRP, nice bullish movement. It was able to get above that resistance where it was at. So it's great. So now, the targets really are getting back up here to 176, and then hopefully up to 183, and then this high at 196.6. So definitely moving in the right direction. It's above all the moving averages. So XRP is doing great. GameStop's again just sitting here consolidating, so not much to talk about on that one. AMC, second day, kind of hit this support area where it's just kind of underneath the 200 here. It's got to change. If it wants to go bullish again, it's got to turn us around, get back above the 200. If not, it could possibly come back to some of these lower levels, the 74.85 level or the 73.86 level, and hopefully find support there and enough energy to start moving back up. So very weak right now on AMD. Cureleaf, so it's maintained bullish. It's very well still extended above the 5 and all the other moving averages. You can see it's a little bit, it's creating this little consolidation channel now. It hasn't filled any of the gaps that's below it. And the momentum here, you can see that the movement, price movement today was pretty tight, pretty small. But the volume is about half of what it was on this parabolic move that it made when it jumped and gapped up. So just something to be aware of, but looks good on Cureleaf. On Delta Airlines, you can see that it's maintaining support here. It had support here where it bounced off. You have support here. You can see they had support here. So this is a very strong line here. So as long as it stays above this 44.67, has a good chance to start breaking back up and start moving north again. It's still above the 100, but it is below the other moving averages. So something to be aware of. And here's if it does break below this 100, the 200 is clear down here at 41.52. So something just to be aware of if you're in the airline area. Tesla, love Tesla today. Really did well today. So I'm really pleased to see it starting to move back towards, a bullish momentum. You see a huge volume in today. That's great. That means institutions are buying in to Tesla, and that's going to help to drive that price up. And so that's exciting. At least for me, it's exciting. I am on this one, so I glad that it was able to maintain all the support down here and start to move higher. So Tesla, as long it's at the 200, didn't quite make it up to the 200 at 671. It's got to break through that 200 if we're really going to get momentum to start climbing back up here towards this, these higher ranges up here around 672 and higher. So really hoping they can keep the momentum going. It does have a good movement in a positive direction. So as long as it can maintain that and break above that 200 and close above it, Tesla's going to look really good moving forward. So I'm excited about that. So hopefully these give you some ideas of what's going on, and appreciate you checking out the channel, and please subscribe and hit the like button because that helps me to continue to be able to provide more of these update videos to you. So check out our channel, and good luck in your trading.